Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Please continue to pray that I meet the right life partner in my life by leaving a like on this video. I had some pretty good news lately. Yesterday, I was at a potluck event, and to my joy, not too many people brought up the idea that I was eating differently. That's always been a big source of barrier for me. And also, I had a good conversation with a few people there, and so I've learned to enjoy. See, I've learned to enjoy when I have a good conversation with somebody that I like, even if it's only a few seconds, to enjoy that because life is made up of 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. It's strung together, right? As long as you enjoy each one of those segments, that's good, right? So I enjoyed that. I thought about something though. I'm going to call this show a Peter Like show today because I'm talking about networking with people. When I die, I want my tombstone to be shaped in a dislike with the thumb pointing down. But here's what I want to do. When strategic metals are really cheap, precious metals are really expensive, like right now, the tombstone will be a dislike. And when strategic metals are more expensive and precious metals are really cheap, right? Like we had at the beginning of the century, right? And for a short amount of time during the dot-com bubble, right? Tellurium and even bismuth was considerably more expensive. Then we can flip it around to a like, right? So over the centuries, right? My tombstone will flip up and down and up and down and up and down, right? Maybe turning around once every 100 or so years, right? I'll have to think about that. When I put together my will, I'll be writing about that, so I'll think about it. But something happened this week that made me realize that I need to network with the right person. See, I'm missing a video game convention that's being held in Portland, Oregon today and tomorrow. And part of the reason I didn't go to it is that Portland, Oregon is about a 21-hour drive away from Phoenix, Arizona. And if I were to make that drive alone, it would take me 3 days. Now, why don't I fly there? Well, there's a lot of gear that I want to bring there. And also, I have, sometimes I have social anxiety. I'm in a big place like the library, and all of a sudden, something bothers me and I need to lay down. If my car were not outside in the parking lot, I would feel very uncomfortable hanging out in the library. Let me just tell you that. So, for example, library is one of those places I would not walk to because if I need a break and need to lie down, I need to do it. And so, video game convention, you get the idea, right? Unless it's held in a hotel and I can get a room upstairs, right? I'm probably going to be very uncomfortable flying to that convention. I don't think it's held in a hotel. And plus, if it were, I don't think I could get a room in that same building, right? So, backgammon tournaments are usually held in hotels. I really always try to get a room in the same building for that reason. I know it's weird. I need that lifeline. I know I hardly ever make use of it, but just the fact that it's there makes it very easy for me. I've gotten into trouble before because of needing to lay down. When I was living in Seattle, Washington, I almost got trespassed from one of the libraries there. I didn't own a car at the time. I actually, when I went to appeal the trespass, I explained that I had just bought a car and in the future this wouldn't happen. And I was very surprised that the staff there understood where I was coming from. So that was good. You got to understand, Seattle has a lot of homeless people too. So that was I can understand their point of view too. And I'm missing out on the trip to Portland, Oregon, because it would take me 3 days to drive there. But I thought about if I had a life partner and the two of us could drive together, we could have gone to that trip much more easily, right? And that's just one of those barriers that nobody thinks about. Uh, Anybody who's been happily married for 5 years probably is not going to think very much about this one particular barrier. You may have realized that the computer that I'm recording these videos with is kind of old. Or to give you an idea, this is the same computer that I used to find out that Trump was being impeached for the first time. I'm still using the same computer that I learned that piece of news from. Now, why? Not because I can't afford to replace it, but I don't have the time to move everything from one computer to the next. And it's just really frustrating, all the barriers that not having a lot. And don't get me wrong, it is not a big deal that I'm using a 7-year-old computer. It's not that the end of the world that I'm missing out on a video game conference. The bigger problem is that nobody recognizes that there are headwinds. We love to recognize that people like to spend time with their family. And so oftentimes I get last dibs on vacation time. Imagine I go up to my boss today and ask for a vacation day in order to go replace my computer. I don't think I would get us or to cook for myself or any number of the millions of things that are infinitely more challenging to do it alone. I don't think I would get a whole lot of good reception compared to somebody who wants to go out with their spouse to dinner, right? It's just, I just wanted to point that out, right? Now, do I want to meet the right life partner? Yes and no. In an ideal world, I shouldn't have difficulty getting others to understand that single life has its own set of headwinds, right? In an ideal world, uh, right, the societal substrate would be more conducive to it. But at the same time, I do want to meet that life partner, but unfortunately, every time I've tried to meet some, even the people that I was talking to yesterday, there's a lot of well, I hate to say it in the library, but a lot of other things that it comes with that it really doesn't have to. Right? I want to make a lifelong friend that I could live with. Right. So, for example, I'm living in a shared house right now with two other housemates, and it would be so much better if all of us beat at the same wavelength, right? And we can cook for each other, and so that things would flow a whole lot better, right? Imagine that I could find roommates that also like this video game convention, then all of us could go there, right? Imagine if, uh, right, you get the idea that, granted, these are some of the best housemates I've ever had, but even still, there isn't a whole lot of integration in our society. Right? Everybody still likes to pull in their own direction, which is why we have all this single bias, right? Everybody who is single pulls in their own different direction, right? Some people are asexual, other people are still looking for that right person, but everybody's pulling in a different direction. Right? One person wants to do it this way, the other person wants to do it that way. And as a result of nobody, next month when we go to the ballot box, right, they're all voting for different candidates, right? This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.